What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Volks TV. We're working on this car still. We're almost there. We're almost there. We got all the wiring done on the ECU. We got everything plugged in, to the relay board. We're ready to power that thing up and fire it off. But I gotta get in my laptop and I gotta download the current version of Tuner Studio, and I've got to download a bunch of drivers so that I can run the LC2, which is the oxygen sensor or the wideband O2 sensor, whatever. That's the thing that plugs in. Mario's gonna kill me because I can't get any of this stuff right. But I gotta plug all that in. I gotta get the driver set up. So while that's all updating and getting ready, we are gonna work on my motor because I got 10 or 15 minutes while that's going. So we're doing some breather stuff, and in a minute we'll jump down and I'll show you what we're doing. You got to have a breather. I want this engine to run cool. I want this engine to run leak free, and I want this engine to be trouble free. And the way that we get that accomplished is by setting up a breather system, and I'm trying to do it the right way, even though it's not the way that I want to do it. I don't really like running the breather into the carbs, but that's what we're going to do because that's the way the engineers from the factory set it up. That little hose that goes up to the bottom of the intake to vent crankcase pressure. So we're going to do it. I got some neat stuff. I'm going to try to make it look as good as I can, and so we'll jump down here close. My motor's right here, and I'll show you what we're doing with all this junk. Let's go. Alright, the idea is that you've got the pressure inside the crankcase, and you've got pressure inside the valve covers that you want to get out. If you just let that pressure build up inside here, it's going to push past the valve covers. It's going to leak. It's going to get on your exhaust. It's going to make smoke. It's going to stink, and it's no fun. So I'll show you in a second, but we put some AN style. Actually, it's these right here. I put something like that, which is a threaded in AN fitting, and then I've got a 90 that comes up off the back, and then we're going to trim the tins a little bit, and we're going to run those lines up, and we're going to probably put them on this side, and that's going to sit down kind of like that. The negative pressure inside the filter, hopefully, even though it's not going to be that high, hopefully that constant draw from the carb is going to help with relieving the pressure in the valve cover. It's going to have somewhere to go. You could just vent it to the atmosphere like what I've got here in the middle. This is going to get oily, and this is going to kind of get dirty and plugged up, and then it's not going to work. So I'm constantly going to have to be cleaning that. I am going to find another solution for this, but I don't really want to see a breather, and because I have this JC jack stand back here, which is what the alternator is being held up by, I don't have a breather underneath. It mounts totally in the back, and we'll get a close-up of that in a second too. We're trying that out, and we're trying out the MST auto tensioner. I have some fitment issues that I'm going to have to clearance and stuff, but I kind of like the look of this and not having a big thing over here. It looks a lot cleaner, so I'm going to have to come up with a different way to do that. But for now, we're going to try that, and we're going to try venting the valve covers to the carbs. So I got to drill a hole in those filter tops, and I've got this, it's what they call a bulkhead fitting. It's just a flat threaded fitting with a nut, and then we've got these two little Teflon washers. So that's going to sit in there, and then I got some hard lines, some 1/2-inch aluminum hard lines that'll come up and from the back, and everything can be attached, so that way I don't have a separate breather. I have all these hoses and stuff like that. So we're going to take these off, and we'll go to the bench and we'll drill some holes, and we'll mount this, and then we'll bend up some 1/2-inch hard line, and hopefully we'll see if it works. Alright, so we got our cheapo metal valve cover, or air cleaner cover. I probably should have got the cast aluminum ones, but I don't have any more of those floating around, I don't think, anywhere. But got some sets of these, so we're going to start with these and hopefully it works. I don't like the idea of having a nut inside there because if it falls off, it's going to go right inside the carbs, even if I put it off to the side. So we're going to do this for now. I'm going to put some Loctite on there and we're going to see, but I'm probably going to order a set of the cast ones and just drill them and tap them, and then I can just thread that piece in there and then there's not a nut to fall. I think I like that idea better, but we're going to use what we got, and this is what we got. We're going to hold this with a pair of vice grips, but I want to make sure that this has got some tape on it so that we don't scratch it. And watch out, these things are sharp. I already cut myself. It has got some very sharp edges. Put a little tape, a couple layers, keep the vice grips from scratching it. You know, on the inside I don't care. On the outside we kind of want to try to keep it nice if we can, you know. Put something for these to grab. Go super tight. Just good enough. And we're going to drill our hole halfway between the mounting hole and the edge. Kind of right in the middle. That way that nut isn't right over one of the velocity stacks. You know, it'll be a little in between them. So here we go. Let's drill a hole. And I've pre-measured already, so I know that this is going to clear inside there. It looks really, really tall, and it is, but it's going to clear. I measured in there, I got like 18 inches, and from this to the top of the tin is like 15 inches, so I got room. So let's go over to the motor, we'll put these on, and then we'll get to work on bending up some of those lines. Right, so we got our piece of 1/2 inch line that I pulled off of the coil and painstakingly got almost straight. Then we put our hardline, you know, fitting on there, and we're going to start up here at the top, and it's longer than we need, obviously. And we start up here at the top, and we kind of figure out where we want to make that 90. And this stuff bends pretty easy because it's aluminum, but you don't want to kink it. Right? So kind of go like this, and then this is going to be back down here. It's like a weird compound kind of a bend, you know. So there, we got it. Kind of make some adjustments. We're going to have to trim this tin just a little bit, and then we're going to have to cut a little off the bottom of that. But there you go. We got a breather. It's, you know, we'll give you a close-up of this in a second. But it's coming right out of the back of the valve cover, away from the rockers and everything. So, and it's kind of high, so the oil should still collect down there and go back through the tubes like it's supposed to. But the pressure is going to come up here, make that tight little bend there, and go right back down into the carb. And we did this on the back side of the motor, obviously, because we don't want to see it on the front. Trying to keep it as clean as possible. We've got our fuel line here, hard fuel line, which kind of matches. And then this is the return, which is going to the tank, and then we'll have a little regulator, and the tank sits like right there. So, you know, there you go. So we'll mark this, we'll trim it. I'm going to trim a little bit of this tin. We'll get in there close with the camera so you can see. And we'll make it nice and clean, and then we'll do the other side. there you go. As you can see, we got it coming down. Don't look at that part right there. When it comes down, we kind of clearance our tins. We had already done this a little bit before. Now I'm going to clean it up with a file. It comes down and it kind of bends back out because this 90, because of the way it comes out of the valve cover. You know, we got another. These are -8 or AN8 or 8AN or however you want to put it. These are 8 lines, and then this is a 1/2 inch for the breather. I guess you could use smaller. This is 3/8, and your fittings might be a little bit smaller, but I just want to really make sure that this thing breathes a lot better, you know. And that's pretty clean. And you know, the firewall or the bulkhead of the bus is up here, and this is inside where that seal sits, and this is inside where that seal sits, so this is all going to clear nice. On this other side, it's a little bit more of a problem because it's behind here. It's actually a little more forward, so we're going to have to come out and maybe bend it a little more, and I'm going to have to notch this and then have it come up and then come around and then come in here. So this one's going to require a little more tricky bends. Here's my fuel inlet, which actually comes this way because of where the fuel line comes in on my bus. It's not back here, although I guess it could be. But I kind of have it coming this way because of my regulator, but my regulator is going to move to the passenger side, the regulated return, which we'll show you when we put that together. But let's trim this down and bend one of these up again here in fast time, and you can see, you know, how we make that breather look. Alright, you want to be careful with these fittings. You see it's kind of stepped right there. That goes, you know, first you put this on with the threaded side towards the threaded side, and then you put it with the little smaller part on the tubing, and then it should stick out like that. And what that does is when you put your flare on there, this sort of sleevey part flares, you know, fits the 37-degree flare of your pipe there, and it seals. This is probably a little bit less important on this one because it's just like vapor, so it's not like gonna leak. Hopefully it might, but it's not like if it was an oil line or these fuel lines, you know, they had to be perfect so that they don't leak. So I'm gonna flare this, we'll get this put back on there, we'll do some close-up, you know, beauty shots of it, and then that's it for today. All right, well, there we go. We got it in there. It looks good. You know, they're nice and tight. Maybe I'm going to redo that one. I don't know. It got a little kinky. It's kind of a little weird. I think I could do a little better job on the bending. I've got enough of that material. I might just clean that one up. But you get the idea. Got a valve cover. You got a hole in the back. You got a little fitting. Boom, boom, comes up. You know, usually it's rubber line, and it comes up to like a different separate box that's mounted back there. And you'd have one coming off of somewhere, either the fuel pump, because we're using an electric fuel pump now, so we would either have one coming off of here or it would come off of your alternator tower. I just don't have that. I didn't set the motor up that way. I'm gonna try to use this. I got good seals in the engine bay. Everything's new, so that should keep most of the dust out. And I think if it's blowing out, it's not sucking in. So as long as I take some stuff and get it clean, we'll just keep it clean. You can pop it right off, hit it with a little bit of brake cleaner or something, if it gets too bad. But otherwise, I think this motor is going to stay pretty clean. The other one, other than some oil, because I had a bad fitting behind the pulley, it didn't really leak that bad. So that's it for this motor. This motor is super ready to stab. Came home from work last week one day, and Chris was here taking the motor out of my bus. It's okay, I told him he could do it. His bus is still down. He's got a Bowen motor, but we're doing the EFI like this thing on there. And it's going to take too long to set up. He's been without his bus for a while. And since mine was coming out anyways, I said, hey man, you do the work. You take that motor, you can use it for a little while till he gets his other one set up. So we'll do that. This will get stabbed in there. The tank will get stabbed in there. We'll do a video on that maybe this weekend if we get this one started up. I just checked my tuner studio. It's still downloading. So, I had time to do the breathers right here. And then next week we'll get that thing fired up. Maybe we'll get my motor in too. Maybe we'll get that motor in too. We'll do like a super long video of just putting in motors. It'll be awesome. Until then, hit the links, check out the friends, visit everybody down there. We got all these YouTube friends, we got all these other friends that are doing great stuff, so check everybody out. All the links are down below. Hit the Amazon store. Mother's Day's coming. Camping gear, whatever, tools. The ladies need the tools too, man. Everybody does everything these days, and that's fantastic. So, get mom some tools. She'll appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.